Okay guys, so today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to make pine pitch glue. So what I've got here is I've got this skull that I saved from my bones that I found earlier. This is what I'm going to melt it in. We've got ourselves some charcoal from the fire here. And I have some pine resin that I collected in a styrofoam cup. Now, in order to get pine resin, all you really need to do is... Now what will happen with these pine trees is they'll get these injuries in them. And you'll see here that there's a lot of pine resin in this injury. You can collect all this stuff out and it'll melt. And the last thing you need is a filler. And what I'm going to be using for that is the fiber out of some cedar. There we go. So in order to do that, all you just crush this up into a powder. So you're going to mix these in thirds. So 1/3 charcoal, 1/3 resin, and 1/3 this. If you want to make it a little bit more flexible, add a little bit of tallow, something like that. Tallow is just rendered fat, and that'll make it a little bit more flexible. Or you can use just a little less of these or this to make it just a little bit more flexible. And I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to make it a little bit more sticky and flexible, and a lot less, more like a concrete. Alright, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this and I'm going to mash up the charcoal into a nice little powder. And these little fibers that are picking up off the cedar and going in it, that'll only help the filler. That looks pretty good. We've already got a little bit of a filler in there. Now we'll just go ahead and put that in our cup. Now I don't reckon we need that much more filler, so we'll just take a little bit of this fluff off of the side here. And we'll just tear this up so that's a nice and fine little fiber powder. Now, we're just going to mix in our pine resin out of our cup here. Well, there's not going to be very much mixing until it melts. Now we're just going to gently set that by the fire so the resin can melt. It's starting to melt in a little bit there. Alright, so what I'm doing here is I'm using these two different rib bones here as like a prod to help hold everything together while I mix it together at the same time. So I would say that's pretty much done. Now what you do is as it cools, just wrap it. The consistency is something you kind of have to play with until you find something that you like. Okay, now these two sticks right here, you have two little glue sticks, and you will be able to use these to help seal holes in like primitive containers. You can use these to help glue arrowheads onto your sticks or your arrows, spearheads. These also can be used to reinforce lashings. So if you're going to lash something together, you can dab some of this on there, and when you add the lashing and this cures, it'll help to hold that lashing in there much stronger. So I'm going to show you how these work real quick. So the way that these work, when they're cold, they're not sticky. You need to melt them first, actually. Alright, so now I melted it a little bit. So now we'll just apply it. Set that down. Hopefully it won't adhere permanently. Now you'll just wrap your lashing. Put 3 turns on there. And you would normally tie this. And voila. That is a glue that's going to help your lashing stay together. You can also use this to waterproof things because it's going to stick really well. So now I know y'all want to see how strong this holds. So undo the knot. It holds on its own. Not even peeling. And I mean, it's not super glue by any means, but it'll definitely help to keep your lashings and your knots and stuff from coming undone. You can further reinforce that by adding a layer on top of it as well, if you really don't want your knots to come undone. Alright, so with that said, that's how you can make glue out in the wild to help hold your lashings together, to help waterproof different things. You get a hole in something in your tent or something, you can use this as a temporary repair for your tent. There's loads of uses for this stuff, and it's extremely easy to make, and all you really need is a pine tree of fire and some random fibers. You can use birch, not birch, cedar fluff. As long as you fluff it up into a nice fine powder, you can use really any kind of nice little fiber, like a fiber powder. I like to use a fiber powder because fiber seems to stick a little bit better, or grab better, rather. So, go outside, make your own, experiment with it, figure out which ratio of pine resin to charcoal to filler that you like, and stick with that recipe. I like this one. It works for typically what I would use it for. Sometimes I'll mix it up so that it sets a lot harder. Sometimes I'll set it so it sets softer. It really just depends on the purpose. But in any case, thank y'all for watching. I'll see y'all in my next video. Don't forget to hit that little ding-a-ling bell icon down below. Hit that like button, subscribe. See y'all later.